All good, all good.
Happy Friday, happy weekend.
Well, we'll see. We'll see about the happy weekend, Mark. This could turn out to be a disaster. Jacob, how are you, mate?
I'm all good. Had a good productive week at work. Had a good week. So I'm hoping that somehow it can end fruitfully.
Oh, that would be nice. I mean, there's only one place to start, and I'm going to go to the positive Mark on this. But please tell me, how did you feel after the Palace game? Because I was struggling. I was thinking he can't come up with anything after this game.
Yeah, no. Look, I'll be very honest. And watched it at my place with about 15 Spurs fans, and I'm never watching it with them again. I said it's the first time I've watched it with them in my bar and my restaurant, where of holiday, and that was just. I'm never going to do that again. And you know, I am very positive, but I can't really take a lot of positives out of Saturday's results. You know, I know we went down to 10 men. I just, again, we just don't penetrate enough, do we? We just, you know, Harry looks lost. Some people are saying it's because he's not getting service. I think he still looks lost. I think his head's still on cloud 9 or somewhere else. We spoke about last week, we missed that creative touch, that creative edge again. And dare I say, you know, Dyer and Sanchez, when they've been playing together, we looked really solid at the back, and we lost both of them for last weekend, and we just didn't look good, did we?
No, not even a little bit. Before I go to Jacob, Alan, welcome to the therapy session. How are you, mate?
Yeah, great. Spurs, everything else, I'm good. Spurs-wise, no.
No, well,
Literally,
Jacob,
I've been saying the same thing all week, mate.
Yeah, how was you, Jacob, after the Palace game? What was your? How did you handle it after the 3-0 smashing?
I ain't gonna lie, because I've been a Spurs fan for so long. You know, when you've got that laugh that if you might as well laugh because you won't cry. All I kept hearing in my head was Alan's comments. You know, it wasn't so much, you know, the fact that it was Dyer or Sanchez's fault. It was just, I sensed it. It's really weird. It's like I was on the phone to my friend and he was like, what do you reckon the score's going to be? And I don't know why I said it, but it happened. I said, you know what? I've just got a funny feeling something stupid's going to happen. Like we'll get a man sent off. And then lo and behold, Tanganga gets sent off. It's just something about Spurs when you're expecting them to win and we can push on. When the sun's out, we just flop. I don't know. It's just something that I always notice. But I don't know. It's just if we'd lost 3-0 and it was because of the sending off, I would have been like, all right, these things happen. But even when we had 11 men, they still looked better than us. It was like Mark said. It's the creativity. Like this is why I don't trust Spurs as a club, because it's like, how can you get rid of Eriksen? If you wanted to get rid of him for whatever reason, that's fine. But how has it took you sort of like 2, 3, 4 transfer windows to find somebody that plays like that? Like there's no, all the top clubs, you know, if Man City lost an Eriksen, you know quite quickly they'll replace him. They'll probably replace him while he's still there. So it's like, Eriksen, you can play if you want, but you're second fiddle now. But here we're relying on Lo Celso, Dele Alli. They're attack-minded players, but they're not going to be in the assist charts. And we were lucky last season to have Harry Kane setting up all the goals. But at some point, we need someone else to assist so we can get on the end of the chances. And, you know, that game proved as well that if Harry Kane, everybody's talking about Harry Kane being our most important player, but this is why I say it's Son, because Harry Kane, it's pretty clear that he relies on Son. He needs Son in the game to elevate himself, whereas Son, whether Kane's there or not, does what he needs to do. And Son was badly missed. It's like we might not have the creativity with Son, but it's like without Son, we look like Martin Yole's team again.
Yeah, it's not wrong. It's not. I mean, obviously during the game, Alan, I kept going back to your comment to Mark last week, whereas we're either going to win 1-0 or we're going to get smashed by somebody. It's going to go either way. And look what's happened, Alan. How was you during and after the game?
I was watching the game, we were okay for the first 10 odd minutes, and Nuno had a game plan, like really tight midfield, diamond shape, and spread the width out. Only thing Nuno forgot to think about is that the people he'd be having to switch the ball out wide would be Skip and Winks. That, was just ridiculous in itself. Then it was just absolutely awful from there. Nuno, I mean, apart from taking Eric Dyer off because he was injured, nothing could be done about that. But at half time, I'm pretty sure every Spurs fan was sitting there thinking, we need to make changes. He did nothing. He did absolutely nothing. Didn't change the system. Didn't change that. There was there was nothing from the second half. It was just as lackluster in the second half as it was the first. For me, I just see Nuno as Mourinho Mark II. I see no difference to last season. I'm hoping, whereas Mourinho started good and then fell apart, I'm hoping that Nuno can start not great, because although we've got 3 points, 3 wins, I said, those type of wins, 1-0, are masking over the massive problems we have. Mm-hmm. And now it's starting to come quite quicker than I thought it was going to be. I thought we were going to beat Palace and then we were going to struggle against Chelsea and Arsenal. It's come a bit too early. So it's just one of them things. For me, I don't see it getting any better anytime soon. For me, I weren't happy with him being manager in the first place. And everything I've seen so far still isn't going to make me happy that he's manager. For me, he's not the right person to take us forward. We need an attack-minded manager who's going to at least put players on to attack and try and play open, expansive football. That's the type of players we've got, and it's not going to be him. And for me, he needs to go.
You know what you just said about Mourinho as well, Alan? I just thought about it. A lot of the stuff that Nuno would have learned in terms of thinking to himself he wants to be a coach, he would have learned from Mourinho at Porto.
Exactly.
But you wouldn't be surprised.
It just for me, especially from when January onwards last season, it just reminds me of that. No creativity. I think still in the Premier League, it's one big chance created in 4 games, 1 goal from open play. Yeah, we can't even, no disrespect to Rennes, we can't even polish for Rennes. I know we were playing a severely weakened team, but you would expect big teams with big mentality to win in trophies, play their second string team, go to places like that and get the job done. We can't even do that. I fear this is going to be a really bad season for us.
Yeah.
I have that feeling.
So do I.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen, don't worry. The man standing behind me is my dad. He Tottenham fan like the rest of us. He just wants to listen. He wants to see how everyone else feels.
I honestly thought he looks like a ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just interested in what everyone else has to say. I mean, Mark,
Good
talk to me about Nuno.
Yeah, listen, I think he missed a trick on Saturday, didn't he? I have to agree. It's difficult to say he's Mourinho Mark II. Mourinho has won everything under the sun. I think Nuno's won anything yet, has he? And I don't think if he carries on the way he is, he'll win anything. At least Mourinho's won every single trophy on the planet. So he's got that to his CV. I just think he missed a trick where we were 0-0, no sending offs. He could have brought, and I'm not saying Ndombele's all of a sudden he's going to make our team into this great team. We know the boy's got talent. We know there's something up there that's not quite right, and he has to get his mentality right. But I just think if we had something more creative, I watched Winks. Now, I know there's a lot of people that don't like Winks, and I know there's a lot of people that want to give him a chance. I'm on the fence. I'm not yay or nay, but I watched him on Saturday, and with Højbjerg, Skip, and Winks, all we did was go sideways, back, sideways, back, sideways, back, sideways, back, sideways, and all Harry Kane was doing. Did you see how far Harry dropped in just to come get the ball? Yeah. And I thought he had such an opportunity to just come out that second half and say, do you know what, it's not working right now. The only thing we can do now is we need to go on there. We need to put them on the back foot because they started attacking us, didn't we? I thought the first 15 minutes we kind of controlled it, and then they got more and more into the game, and we just looked like we were dropping back. And ever since Dyer went off, we just kept on dropping back. And I'm with you guys. I think when they came out the second half, they only looked like one winner. I don't think we didn't even look like we were going to win. And you're right there, Ryan. I think if Red was going to, I looked at it and I said, this is going to be a 1-0. You know, it's going to be like the first 4 results, a 1-0, before Tanganga went off. And as soon as he went off, that was it. I knew the cards were on the table.
Yeah. Jacob, what about you? What did you think to the lineup, especially with Emerson starting and then the 3 defensive midfielders that we started with?
I didn't mind Emerson too much because I kind of thought I'd rather see what you're about against Zaha than Matt Doherty, because Matt Doherty was just going to get rinsed by Zaha. You just knew it. Do you know what I mean? So I thought, give him a chance, and it's like he's come from a different country. Let him play against arguably one of the most trickiest wingers in the league, and if you come up trumps against him, then you should be ready, especially playing away. And I think overall he done all right considering it was his first game. But it was. I just didn't get the formation, because when I saw the 3 in midfield, I kind of thought, all right, you've got Højbjerg, you got them 2, you got them 3 to short at the midfield. I thought Dele was going to come in from the left. Now, when I saw Dele not going anywhere near the left, and I saw Lucas Moura going nowhere near the right, I was like, all right, we're playing a diamond. So effectively, you had 2 players that are used to playing completely central, helping out the fullbacks. So it was just weird. I can't remember the last time I've seen anybody play a diamond in the Premier League, to be fair. So I didn't agree with that. And like I said, I would have given Nuno a pass if he played the first 45 minutes with that diamond, 0-0, and it didn't work. And like Alan said, made a few changes. But then when you turn the telly back on and it's the same diamond and it's the same game, that's when I thought, no, if whatever happens in this game, I've got to criticise Nuno, even if we'd won it, because it's just doesn't make sense to me. And then when we got the man sent off, nothing really changed. I'm not saying Brian Gill's the saviour, but if we had such a bad half like we did, at least bring someone on that's trying to create.
Yeah, definitely. Alan, what about you when you saw the 3-man midfield? Would you have preferred Brian Hill or Ndombele to start?
My preferred starting lineup would have had Gil on the wing, and would have had Dele Alli pushed deeper with Ndombele as well. So skip Ndombele or Højbjerg, and I would have an extra wing player to be able to create stuff. But we just, actually, to be fair, I wouldn't have Ndombele. I'd bring him off the bench. I'd put Dele Alli back there because he's done all right there from start of the season. But we didn't do that. That's what I wanted. I expected a defensive team because that's the type of manager Nuno is, and that's the game we got. And then I thought Royal was doing all right to begin with, and then the more the game went on and the more they controlled, because we done nothing, and he didn't even react. He just let it happen. He got isolated 1-on-1, and then Zaha had a field day. But that was all because Nuno didn't do anything to adjust. It didn't adapt to the game. Petr Vieira, once he worked us out and they had the intensity, they boxed us in. There was no outball to Harry Kane. Harry Kane also looks disinterested completely, to be fair. I don't think he wants to be there. We've got problems from back to front in that team. And for me, like I said, Nuno is one of them as well. Yeah, I'm just not happy at all at the moment.
I mean, Mark, this comment here about the won't accept this type of football. Obviously, Daniel Levy said when we hired him that he wants to see us play the Tottenham way. I mean, you've watched it for many years now, Mark. Does this look like the Tottenham way?
Oh, we're nowhere near the Tottenham way, aren't we? We are so far off at that free-flowing, remember, was it 15-16 or 16-17 season where we would just attack, and I think we surprised so many people then. You know what? I think that the thing that worries me is Nuno and the lack of trust that he has in one or two of his players. Like, I really, really feel that, and I don't know if you heard his comments about Ndombele last night. He just didn't want to come out and say, there was a couple of opportunities where Ndombele put us forward. As soon as he got the ball, the first thing on his mind was to drive forward. All he wanted to do was drive forward. But the ball got taken away from him or not. Now, in any team, I think you've got to have a luxury player where you've got to say to them, look, you don't really have to run back and go get somebody. Your job is just to drive us forward. Get the ball, get it up there and get the ball. And that's where I think the problem with Mourinho was. And this is where I think the same with Nuno is that Ndombele, he's not a player to track back. And if that's what we're looking for, is not our player. If we're looking for a player that's going to pick up the ball, try and dribble through 3 or 4 players, lay it on a plate for Sonny, lay it on a plate for Kane, then he's your player. That's why we've got Skippy. That's why we've got Højbjerg. That will run and run and run and run and run, and then they'll get up again and run and run and run. So we don't need 3 runners like that.
Exactly.
We've got to have that flair player, and it's we're not coaches, but it's blatantly obvious where the issues are. I just feel Mourinho. It happened with him. It's happening now with Nuno. There's just something that they don't fancy about Ndombele, and it'll be very interesting to see on Sunday with Lo Celso being away for the last 10, 15 days, if he will get in before Ndombele. So, I just think Nuno's got to change it, because if he doesn't, you know what the fan base are like. He won't be there by Christmas. Yeah, and if we continue like this, we will start going down, and we'll be 14th before you know it.
Yeah, well, gentlemen, welcome to the newest panelist for tonight's show. Evening, guys.
How's it going, mate?
Evening. Right. Yeah, nice to see you.
It's another Mark. We've got 2 Marks now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly. So, you want to tell him how you feel about Nuno? Didn't want him. Don't like him. He's not a Tottenham manager. What else can I say?
You no need to say no more, mate.
I think we're all in agreement there.
It was obviously 5th or 6th choice. You don't take 3 months to appoint a manager.
I think you need to move the mic a bit closer.
Yeah, you go. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean, Alan, we've spoke about it before already. Do you think he'll have as long as Mourinho? We've got the fans back now. The fans will not allow this type of football.
No, exactly. I mean, I think Mourinho got away. I think Mourinho got away with it as long as he did, because he's Mourinho and there weren't no fans. The fans are not going to put up with these type of performances. I mean, yeah, but even against Wolves and Watford, we didn't play great. Man City's been our better performance, but you could arguably say that we played them at the best time, first game of the season, caught and cold. Since then, what's there been to cheer about as a Spurs fan, like in performance-wise? We've eked out results, but it only masks over stuff for so long. I just hope I don't see anything changing in the next 2 games. I think we're going to get whooped by Chelsea, and we go away to Arsenal, where we always struggle, so we'll probably end up losing or drawing to them. Then after that, I don't know. Can he get his team playing on the front foot? I don't think he can with the players we've got. For me, I just hope Daniel Levy pulls the trigger sooner rather than later with this guy, because I just don't see it getting better. I'm open enough to say if he can change my mind, go for it. I'd rather a successful manager, but I just don't see it. I can't see anything about this manager that's saying that he's going to get us challenging for the top 4 this season, and even challenging for the top 6.
Yeah, Jacob, are you the same? Do you think he's got? I know, say till Christmas is a bit harsh, but like I say, if results don't go his way, fans are back in the stadium. It's not going to be nice for him, especially if we lose to Chelsea and Arsenal.
I think the one question we've got to ask ourselves is, like, did Daniel Levy believe in this guy? Because if he believed in him, we would have got him straight away. He would have been in the top 3 choices. It's just like, he's the 7th choice. We give him a 2-year contract. Whenever clubs bring in a new manager, it's never a 2-year contract. A 2-year contract pretty much says if you don't smash it in the first year, we can get rid of you nice and cheap. So as soon as I saw that we got him in for 2 years, I just knew straight away that you don't believe he's the manager, and you're just hoping it's another Pochettino, where all the Tottenham fans are like, oh, who's this guy? Oh, yeah, he smashed it at Southampton. Because I remember what it was like when we got Poch. Everyone was like, well, fair enough, he smashed it at Southampton. Why do we want him? But then he took us to levels, there's no Tottenham fan that can say that they saw what Poch was going to do and what he actually did. But it's just so Tottenham. That's all I say. It's just that's all it is. It's just, you just know full well Nuno was brought in, and it was literally desperation. You get the small-minded Tottenham fans that when Nuno come in, what a great choice, Daniel Levy's a master. Well, if he's a master, why is he 7th choice? It's like you going, we've all been there, no matter what age you are. you go to a club, you had a few beers, you've looked around, and imagine there's 10 girls in front of you. You've ended up with the 10th because you've tried with the other 9 and it ain't worked.
Jacob,
You know what I mean?
Jacob, speak for
Great
yourself,
answer.
pal.
You woke
Speak
up in
for
the morning
yourself,
and
Jacob.
huh?
Speak for yourself, pal.
I've had ones and 10s, man. It just depends.
I'm in the top 6 there, pal. I'm in the top 6 all the time.
Oh.
Come on.
You're a Man City, aren't you? You're a consistent top 4.
I'm positive there.
In regards to the Nuno thing, from what I've heard, it's Paratici that wanted Nuno. Daniel Levy didn't want him, so that's why I'm hoping, if that's the case, if that's true, if things like this continue in the next couple of months, this bad, Daniel Levy will not hesitate to pull the trigger and be like, no, you're out. So that's the only positive for me, if that is the case.
He'll probably do it with both of them, wouldn't he?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't see Paratici going anywhere.
Oh, Ryan, you need to get you and your old man to put the volume up on your mic because you're proper low.
Is it? Right.
Yeah. Because every time you're trying to talk, I can see you talking, but it's. You might want to test it a sec.
Yeah. Keep talking. Let's have a therapy session.
Don't know about therapy session.
Yeah, I just think, I think as long as Paratici's there, I think Nuno will get the season. I don't think he'll go before the end of the season, if I'm honest. I think if we all had to be honest with ourselves, did you think when the season started with all our players, hand on heart, did any of you think we'd finish top 4? Whether it was Conte, whether it was, the team we've got, do we believe they are a top 4 side when you look at Chelsea, when you look at Man United, when you look at Liverpool? And I'm honest, we're a top 6 side at the moment.
Bringing Conte in would give me belief because he gets the best out of players. Like if you look at when he was at Chelsea, he had people like Victor Moses and Alonso, who at the time were classed as dross, but then he turned them into the best fullbacks in the league for one season and won the league. So
for me, I had us down as 7th. That was my prediction because I think that's where we are as a club. At the moment, I know we're 6th in the table at the moment. That's going to be dropping down with the next couple of results probably. I honestly, hand on heart, believe we're going to be at the moment the way we're playing 10th, maybe even like I can't see it getting better. I think we've had results go our way which shouldn't have gone our way, and that's masking over the problems like that. I just don't think he's good enough.
The caveat for me at the moment, and this is going to be the positive that I'm going to bring to it, is that on Saturday, how many of our non-first team players started? How many of our first non-team players were there? So, for instance, you had Dyer after 15 minutes. We were 0-0 when Dyer was taken off. We had no Ramiro. Emerson Royal was his first game, so he needs to get up to speed. We had no Sonny. Yeah, absolutely. We had no Nonabele in it, no Lascelles. So I'm going to caveat with the thing where
okay,
I don't believe we'll finish 10th. That I think is too low. But I think we're a top 6. But I don't think we're not a top 10 side. No ways. Not on this planet Earth.
Okay, so I'll come back at you with some stuff. So I believe that we are a top 6 team, but I think Nuno will get us top 10. I just don't think he's good enough. Let's look at the team. So saying about no Eric Dyer after 15 minutes, him and Sanchez weren't our best players last season. They weren't even, they were awful as defenders. So I wouldn't say that. I know Royal's first game, but then you've got people like Ndebele that haven't been in the team, Lascelles that hasn't been in the team. Bergwijn hasn't been good for some time. Lucas Moura has been, for me, arguably one of our best players with the way he's trying to drive at teams, but that's about it. He's having to do that because Dele Alli hasn't been good for some seasons. So we've got so I don't see the positive because I just see problems all over the place. I just see this team with this manager just going backwards. The only positive I can Romero hasn't even started in the Premier League for us either. I don't see. For me, there's only been 2 positives this season so far. I think Reguilon's done good at left back. Not great, but I think he's done better than most. You've got Moura up front that's trying to drive at teams. Son obviously unfortunately has been injured, so you can't really put him down because he's just not been there. But then look at our back line. You've got Royal, who's new. You've got Doherty, who's shocking. You've got Tanganga, who's out. Dyer, who's now injured. You've got Romero, who hasn't started. Rodon, who's okay, but not great. And then you've got Reguilon, who's arguably our best defender. And Ben Davies, who's absolutely ridiculous. When you look at a back line like that, how can you have any confidence in that back line?
Well, I have more confidence with Dyer and Sanchez. So forget last year because I'm not interested in last year now. The first 3 games, they were solid. And then the first time they're not together, we lose 3-0. So that's where my confidence will come.
That's a good point.
The first game, we beat Man City. Look, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're going to finish top 2. But we took the game to Man City. Let's not forget Man City. Let's not hang our hat on this. Crystal Palace was a bad day at the office, pal. That was a very bad day at the office. But then take the Man City. Did you think we were going to beat Man City?
Like I said,
and we looked, and that was Nuno. Yeah, that was Nuno. Come on.
Look at the 2 games after that.
Like I said,
we won both, didn't we?
Okay, like I said, that Man City mastered a lot of problems. We caught them cold. You forgetting in that first 15 to 20 minutes before we actually got into the game, they could have been 2, maybe 3 up. They just didn't take their chances. On another day with Man City, we would be 2 or 3 down, and it would look like a different start to the season. So you've got to take it in context for that game. I'm not saying that the performance after those 20 minutes wasn't good, because it was. It was our best performance from then on, because we took the game to them and it was sustained counter-attacking. But since then, it's not been sustained counter-attacking. Wolves should have beat us. And Watford, every now and again, we had a good couple of minutes of attacking. Apart from that, Watford weren't really... We didn't put Watford to the cosh under Poch, and I'm not saying...
Watford deserves to get a draw, if you ask me.
Under Poch, when small teams came to our ground, we slapped them about. We went at them. We took them apart. This manager stick, and like Mourinho, in the end, that's why I said get him out, stuck with 2 defensive players in the midfield as well as a back 4 and sat so deep. And now you see the same thing happening again.
Yeah, well, listen, and that's why we have these shows, because we have difference of opinion.
Needs to get out.
I don't see it as bad. Look, Crystal Palace was a bad day at the office. I'll say that, and I'll go one step further. I never want to see, is it Kevin Moss or whatever his name? I never want to see him referee. John Moss or whatever his name. I never want to see him referee another game for us. And I'm not going to say we lost because of the referee, but oh my goodness me, we didn't get anything. And it was just a continuous bad day at the office. And I do believe if we had Sanchez, if we had Dyer fully fit, if Kane, when his head's right, when he comes around with Sonny, if we get Nundumbele that can play, Højbjerg, the machine that he is, yeah, I don't see as bad as you think, as the way you bring it across. I really don't. But we need to get all those components together. I still don't think we're going to be the attacking team that a lot of us want or we saw with Poch. I don't think that's ever going to happen with this manager. And I do see a lot of 1-0 and 2-0 wins. I think we'll be a lot stronger at home than we will be away. And I don't see us being top 4, but I do see us finishing in the top 6. And we could surprise somebody because we could go on a run. But yeah, look, I can't sit here and say about Crystal Palace how great we were, because we weren't. But the caveat is we had a lot of our first team players not in that.
Like I said, go back to that. Son was probably the only first team player that didn't start. Romero hasn't started. Lo Celso doesn't start for us.
But he will start. He will start. He will start. And that's the thing.
He didn't start the first game of the season.
If you say he will start, then if you're saying Eric Dyer and Sanchez were that great, will he start? Well, you're saying that it's a great partnership, so that means he doesn't start then.
But between the 3 of them, they will start. One of them will miss out. But between the 3 of them, they'll forge this season's partnership in the back 2. You know what will happen
with Nuno? Nuno will play them in the back 3.
And then you'll have Emerson Royal and Thingy up on the wing as wing backs.
Which is more defensive, So it gets to the point where all of a sudden you've got Lucas Moura who are going to end up missing out.
For me, to be 4 games into the season, I have a lot of ifs still around this team.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
I want to be positive. I'm normally a really positive Spurs fan, but I just don't see it. And I was positive to begin with Mourinho because I wanted Mourinho and I thought he started great. He got us going really well. And then whatever happened with that, and I just see the same thing happening again, and I just can't be positive when I see this type of football and these type of tactics.
Right, so mic check, boys. Is that any better for you?
Much better.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah.
That much better, yeah.
You put batteries in.
Hear what you got to say.
Get your old man on now. Get him on. Get him on.
Well, we was on about Pochettino when we
Yeah.
first appointed him. The football was better under Pochettino.
100%.
I always say I don't mind losing as long as we play good football.
And there's a performance as well.
Exactly. Under this guy, there's no performance. There's no good football. It's demoralising.
Mm.
It is,
This is what I'm saying. It's just like, you know, we've all supported Tottenham for a long time. So whether it was Martin Yole, Harry Redknapp, Poch, it was like you might have lost 3-2 to Wigan at home, but
Exactly.
you're pissed off with the defeat, but it was a good game. It's just you just go Spursy, but we did play well. We should have won that game. But now it's like when we're losing games, it's like my partner's having to wake me up off the sofa, and she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, is it still 1-0?" Do you know?
Yeah.
It's boring. You go 1-0 down, and you're thinking Mourinho's still going to defend, Poch still going to defend. It feels not more like Mourinho. It feels more like AVB. You remember when we had AVB, and he's like, we had all these players, and you thought, yeah, you're a good player, you're a good player, you're a good player, but it's like you're literally sitting there thinking, right, let me just fall asleep until I hear the commentator say bail, and then you're like, oh yeah, was he scored? All right, cool, we won the game. But it's like you were, as much as I went to watch a couple of games under AVB, it's not like I enjoyed myself.
I mean, Alan, what did you think to last night? Obviously, battered by Palace, first Conference League game. Did you expect that lineup that he put out 3 days before Chelsea, 4 days before Chelsea?
So I'll openly say that I was on a stream on that night, so I didn't see the game. I saw the line out, and I expected him to go a bit, mixed and stuff like that. But I'm glad I didn't watch that game because I saw the highlights and we looked absolutely awful. For me, Hill should have started the game against Palace in the league. Got a bit more intensity. I think putting him in that kind of game just didn't give him anything, even if he did play well, which he didn't. For me, the bright spark in that was Ndombele from what I saw. But, he's coming back into the team after, the whole thing, oh, I don't want to leave because of, my friends leaving or whatever it was that happened. I wanted him gone. For me, Harry Kane should have gone and we should have used the money to, like the comment said, to sort the team out and stuff like that. But, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Nuno's trying to take this competition seriously or he's just picking poor teams and his tactics are that poor that we're just going to get knocked out because we're not playing well enough. It's hard to tell. It really is hard to tell from that performance from what I saw. Yeah. Mark, did you watch us? What did you think?
I saw most of the game. I missed about the first 20 minutes. I thought, like Alan said, I thought Ndombele showed glimpses of what he can do. But then he does go missing, and I'll go back to my earlier point. He's not your person that we need tracking back, when we've got Skip, when we've got Højbjerg and people like that. So I think Nuno's going to have to make a decision. If we're going to play him, it's got to be that driving force to drive us forward. We've been talking about we miss an Eriksen, we miss a Dembele kind of player that can drive us forward. We also on Saturday, and that's where I think Saturday really shocked me when we had Højbjerg, Skip, and Winks, and you looked at it and you just went, "We're not going to get across the halfway line." Look, nothing against Rennes. Where did they finish? 7th last season in Ligue 1. But they had a couple of decent players. I'm not. You can only play as well as against the team that you're facing. So I don't see much of Rennes. I've not really heard much of Rennes. I think do I say it's a good point away from home? They're going to be our toughest lineup in the league. So we got a point away. Now we just need to smash everybody when we come home. I was surprised he played Kane. I didn't think he would play Kane, but then you saw he took him off after 55 minutes because we got Chelsea. Hopefully over the weekend we get a couple of good news. The boys are flying in this evening or tomorrow, and hopefully Sonny's okay and he can come on, and hopefully there's a couple of people that can come on for us. So, but last night, I don't know how much desire a lot of, you look at Højbjerg, how immense was he last night? He just takes it to everybody. And, for me, make the kid captain and just, let people see, they say leadership is all about people following you. If he doesn't inspire you as a player to, he would run through a brick wall. Now, I've always been an advocate. I never want my goalkeeper or my striker to be captain because they're too far apart from each other. I'd rather have somebody in the middle, so either defending or midfield. And yeah, I think we should make Højbjerg captain, and I think he would inspire a lot of people. He's always talking, always. And you saw last night, if it wasn't for him, we would have crumbled.
Yeah, definitely. Jacob, what about you? Obviously, Lucas went off injured. Bergwijn went off injured. I don't. If any of them didn't get injured, I don't think he would have took Kane off. I think that was oh shit, we better get him off before he's the next man to go down.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just with Kane, I thought it was a bit weird. It's like if you were going to give Kane sort of minutes, surely it made sense to stick him on the bench and bring him on to win the game. I didn't understand why we started him. I think Nuno got a bit cocky and thought, right, let's put Kane on. Kane will bang a hat trick, and then I can take him off. And then we end up taking him off when we're not in a good situation. I think the one concerning thing is I watched most of the game before I went and played football, and it's like like I'm not saying we're competing with Man City and Man United and all that, but there's teams like Liverpool who over the last 3 seasons have probably spent less money than us, but they've got players that whether they're coming back from injury or on the outskirts, Klopp uses them and brings them into certain games, and they might not be worldies that do a job. So the other night I watched them play, I can't remember who it was now, but they brought on Chamberlain, they brought on Naby Keita, they're mixing it around with Henderson and Fabinho, and a lot of those players that I just mentioned, players that Liverpool would class as their reserve players, but then you can see that there's a good unit of them fighting for the position. When I look at Tottenham in the Conference League, you'd expect a lot of those players to step up and saying to Nuno, look, I know we just lost 3-0 to Palace. I'm going to smash it today and make sure that when we play Chelsea, when we're in a North London derby, I want to play. I looked at every single one of them and I thought, if that's what you're trying to do, then you shouldn't. If Tottenham are trying to be a big club and join the elite, I don't think there's many of you that should even be in the 25. It's like I like Ben Davies. Ben Davies in terms of loyalty, his heart, and all that. I've got a lot of time for the guy, but he's just not good enough. Matt Doherty, he plays like he's just had a spliff. He honestly looks like he's just had a joint, man, and then he's playing in France. You got the keeper who I like, to be fair. Galini's not too bad, but then, even when we ended the Palace game, I kind of thought, well, we've got centre halves like Rodon and Davies who aren't great. They do great for Wales, but it's like, imagine if those were the only 2 options against Chelsea next week. Romelu Lukaku, like, he'd destroy him. He'd just roll over the lot of them. I think if hindsight, no matter what, I agree with Alan to an extent, no matter what defenders we put in that game against Chelsea, Romelu Lukaku would just look at him and think, I reckon I should get 2 here. He'll be pissed off if you don't score 2.
Exactly. Romelu Lukaku will look at them defender. It won't strike fear into him at all. It'll just be like, he'll be so confident in that game. He's going to bully him.
It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter. You could have any defender in world football at the minute. He's on a roll. And he played like 5 and scored 5 in all competitions. He's not. You could be Sergio Ramos and he'd be like, well, I'll do you and all. That's the way he is at the minute.
For me, the only way we're going to have any luck against Chelsea if he adopts what he did against City, where he sticks free defensive in front of the back, which he tried to do against Palace, but the effort was just not there at all. And we didn't have that outlet of an extra winger to like with pace, because all we had was Mora, to stifle them, to stop that ball into Lukaku. And then if we have, say, Son or Lucas, that's why I play 2 wingers to help Kane out. So we have that outlet and we have a pace to make the team go back. Because against Palace, we didn't have that. So Palace were just happy after about 20 minutes just to sit on the halfway line and they didn't care because we never had an out. The only time we had an out was when Mora actually tried to dribble past 2 or 3 players at a time.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, a segue into Chelsea, Mark. Do you, with this comment here, do you think the South Americans are going to come straight back into the lineup? Obviously, considering what they've done and how pissed the club was with them, have we got any other choices? Romero especially got to come straight back in.
That's a great question.
I think it's going to be a hard one. It'll be interesting to see Dyer if he's back, if it was just a dead leg and he's had the week now to come back, or and if he is fit, who would he partner him with? Would he put Sanchez in, or would he throw Romero in? That's an interesting one. Listen, I'm not saying Lukaku's not great. He's a good striker. He's a good striker.
Quality, mate.
No, but listen, he left Chelsea, went to Everton, went to Man United, tried to do it at Man United, didn't make it at Man United, had to go to Italy. So, he's no Harry Kane, in my books. He's no Harry Kane. So I know you guys, you think he's going to come and smash us. I don't have that same feeling with Lukaku.
I agree.
He's got five. Hold on. Let me finish.
Go on.
Let me finish. He's got 5 in 5. That's fine. But you've also got Werner, who's got 0 in 35. So
he won't play though.
He will. He'll come on. You watch him. However, Chelsea, they've started strong, but I don't fear them. If we can put out a team that with Sonny, with Kane, if we've got Dyer, if we've got our proper first 11 at our home with 62,000, I don't fear them. I'm not saying we're going to lose or we're going to win, but I don't fear them. And I think they'll give them a great game. And I think it'll be similar because I feel our players always lift themselves to the next level when we play like a top 6. So like when we play Man City or when we always seem to put that extra effort in. When we go to places like Crystal Palace, it's like this champ. It's always like we should roll them over kind of thing. So I don't fear them. The one I do fear that if they come back, and I haven't seen the team news, if Kante is back, I know he was injured, but he's the one that fears me more in the Chelsea squad than Lukaku.
He is fit.
He's the one.
He's fit,
He's the one that runs the midfield. Without him, Lukaku can be as good as he wants. If he doesn't get, like Kane, if he doesn't get the support, if he doesn't get the balls, Lukaku he waits for it to come to him. He doesn't come fetch the ball. So my worry more is Kante and people like that. If they fit, maybe then we've got more of an issue.
I can see Alan's mind just running wild. Alan, go for it.
Okay, so let's start with the people coming back into our team. With what they've done, not listening to what the club said and all that, I don't think they should come back into the team. Do we need them back in the team? Probably. I don't think Lo Celso is good enough to get into the team anyway. So you're probably saying Romero and Sanchez. Lo Celso for me, it's been a couple of years, and I can't remember a great performance of his or whatever he's done. So for me, he wouldn't be in the team. Lukaku, it doesn't matter about the journey where Lukaku's gone to. Lukaku's come back the striker he is. He's improved immensely, like coming from Italy. So, he weren't great at Man United, but he's a much better striker where he is now. For me, you're saying about Kante. Kante is like our Højbjerg to the point. Not saying about the same playing ability, but he dictates play. He energy, breaks up play, stuff like that. When you've got players like Jorginho who dictates games, and you've got players like Havertz that is like a player we haven't got, that luxury player who can unlock a defence with a key pass and all that. Chelsea got way more threats than I think Chelsea got way more threats than most teams in this league. That's why I put them as title favourites. But they've got so many ways to be able to punish us. And I admire your positivity, I really do. But to say you don't fear Chelsea. And
I don't fear them. Sorry,
but you're saying about we always perform better against top 6 teams. Actually, Man City at home we beat, and Arsenal at home. When we go to Arsenal, we've only won one away. For us against Arsenal at the Emirates, and 2 in the last 20 years. When we go away to Man United, apart from the 6-1, normally we get slapped about there, and at home we do. Liverpool, we get in recent years been slapped both home and away by them. So we don't even really put up big performances against top 6.
I wouldn't say slapped.
Slapped
at their place, maybe not home. 3-0,
3-0, and 3-0, and what? Well, 1-0 was against Tanganga because that was a Marina defense masterclass.
Yeah.
But getting slapped 3-0 by him isn't getting.
Do we not beat them 4-0 once or 4-1?
Once.
Yeah, that was with Lovren. Lovren had he had a
But
line.
once,
Didn't he?
but hold on, I'm giving you.
Did
I'm
we
giving you.
not beat
I'm giving
Arsenal last season 2-0?
and I said that, but when we
Did
go
we-
to
yeah,
you're picking
Man
one.
City.
You're picking
Did we
two.
not beat Man United 6-1?
Okay, I gave you them, and I said
Yeah.
them.
No, but you can't give me some and not. Yeah,
let me
you
finish.
can't.
You take no, because you're saying about did we not beat them once and all that. But if you take these once, and all that, and like Man City, we always beat them at home. But when we go to Man City away from home, we get slapped about. When we go to
Every
Liverpool,
time.
we get slapped about. Normally,
you know
apart from
when-
a 6-1, apart from a 6-1 from Mourinho, the last time we beat Man United at their place, right, was Poch. And then before that was Andre Villas-Boas. That's not 3 times out of 4 times we beat Man United at theirs. It's 3 out of 8, 10. So we don't put massive performances against the big 6 teams. That's disingenuous. That really is. We have good results now and again. Our best final performances against the top 6 teams was with Poch. But even then, more often than not, we got slapped when we went to the bigger teams away from home.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Not at home though. Not at home. We're not poor at home.
Chelsea
Away
beating
from
us.
home, yes.
Chelsea, I think the last time we beat Chelsea at home was under Poch. The last 3 times that Chelsea have come to us, they beat us 2-0 each time. And then before that, we've only won once away from home under Poch. Chelsea in 23 years. We have the odd good result against the big 6, but I wouldn't say that we do really well against the big 6 all the time. It's nowhere near consistent.
No chance.
No, Jacob. Back to the game. How do you see us lining up? Who do you see coming in, going out?
I think the issue is that we all know that our squad isn't good enough to, So if we're going to treat this London derby as a chess game, and you've got all your pieces and you've got reserves, it's like Chelsea could effectively, imagine if you could make 11 substitutions, Chelsea would walk the park with us. But we can make put it this way: the only way I can see us beating Chelsea is by luck. Lukaku hits the post 4 times, and I just don't see it. It's like if we're going to keep possession at home and not have a thrust of, drive or any creativity, you've got to have that creativity and that quick passing to get past someone like Kante. Kante will eat you up anyway. So if we had an Eriksen like we used to have, or somebody that can unlock a pass, I'll be confident. But when Harry Kane's sitting there going, "Oh, I wonder how I'm going to score today," and he looks up and he's got Ollie Skip and Højbjerg feeding balls to him, and then Dele Alli's too busy either running backwards or moaning or worrying about his dreadlocks. Harry Kane ain't going to get set up, man. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I know my football. It's like, I don't know how to explain it. I've played, like in the years I've played football, I've played in every position and I've played up front. And it's like when you've got someone in centre midfield and you wake up in the morning and they're like, yep, this guy's playing centre midfield or this guy's playing number 10. And you're thinking, as much as you're my mate, you're not very good. You're not going to really be bothered about playing the game. And then when Chelsea have got a back 3, it's hard enough as it is. Even if you did have Eriksen, it'd be tough for us. But when they got a back 3 that's set up with 3 very good defenders, I'll be honest with you, I don't even see us scoring unless we get a penalty or a free kick, which is pretty much what we've been doing for the whole of the league anyway, with Son's free kick, Dele Alli's penalty, and Son's goal against Man City on another day doesn't even go in. If the Ruben Diaz isn't in the way, Ederson saves them, we either lose or get a 0-0. So I'll watch the game, but if we beat Chelsea, I'll be happy. But it will feel like when we play, for instance, I was happy that we beat Wolves. I was happy we beat Watford. I was happy we beat Man City. But I wasn't going to go and ring any of my Arsenal, my Chelsea, my West Ham mates and start telling them, "Oh yeah, you know what? We're going to win the league. We could smash anybody." I was having a laugh at everybody saying, "I can't believe we won that."
Yeah, that's it. Mark, you're the most positive panelist we have with us today, and I know every time you say something positive, Alan's always got something to bite back with.
And that's why we debate, don't we?
Yeah.
And that's why we have different opinions.
Yes. What is your opinion?
I don't think we'll be battered. I really don't. I don't see us on Sunday sitting afterwards, and we've got our WhatsApp group, and it'll be interesting to see. And if we lose 3-4-0, I'll be the first one to put. But I don't see it. And it wouldn't surprise me if we come away with a 1-0 win. It really wouldn't surprise me. And we'll all be sitting there going, "How did we do that? How did we do that?"
Mark,
like the Man City thing. So it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if the guys turn up, they come up, and we sneak a 1-0 win, and everybody goes, "Wow, yeah, that." And not Lukaku hitting the post 4 times or something like that, because like people play Harry Kane out, we'll just play Lukaku out. So I've got to be positive for my sanity, because I can't sit here year in, year out and
So
go
you're
on
being
about
positive for your sanity, not because of reality.
go on about Poch and all that. The guy's been, Nuno's been in the hot seat, 7 games? We've won 3 out of 4 in the Premier League. If we were sitting 20 games in and we had won 3 out of the 20 games, I'd be sitting here going, do you know what? Yeah, it's not great.
We'd be relegated.
No, we wouldn't. But Saturday,
You would.
last
3 after
Saturday,
20, you're definitely down.
Crystal Palace would still be below us. But Saturday was a bad day at the office. I still think Chelsea will come to us. I'm not saying they're going to fear us, but they're not going to come in there thinking they're going to wallop us, because at their peril, they'll think that. And yeah, if we sneak a 1-0 win, I'll be over the moon with that. But I'm certainly not going to fear them. I'm not sitting here worried about Sunday. I'm really not. And I don't think the boys are at Spurs.
I'm not worried. I'm just realistic. I'm not worried. It's not like I can't go sleep. I just know we're going to lose.
How can you be realistic of losing against Chelsea when we've won 3 out of 4 already? It's our best start
in the last. Result against Palace.
Even Pochettino didn't have a great start like this.
But Chelsea have won 3 out of 4, so they should be just as confident as we are.
Absolutely, and I'm sure they are. They're probably same confident, but they're not coming to us thinking they're going to smash us 3-4-0. I'm sure of it.
They're Champions League. They're the Champions League champions, mate. Yeah. Like, I don't think it's one of the ones. It's ingrained in Chelsea's DNA. Like, there's a lot of clubs. Like how we're trying to be a big club in the Premier League. There's a lot of clubs that look at it. They've looked at us historically and gone, "It's only Tottenham." Man United done it. It's only Tottenham. Chelsea, like Alan said, have had a great historic record against us. It's only Tottenham. North London derbies up until recently, it was only Tottenham. Liverpool have never really said it's only Tottenham, but recently we've got whitewashed by them. I'm not saying that I'm scared. It's not like I'm going to sleep and I can't, I'm getting anxiety or anything like that. It's just no matter what lineup I think to myself, no matter what tactic, I just look at the squad of players we've got and the squad of players Chelsea have got, and I can't see us scoring, but I can see Lukaku bullying any centre-half pairing that we've got. And then if he doesn't, like Alan alluded to, they've got Havertz, who can unlock a defence and score a goal because they had him up front last season. You've got Kante, who's actually capable of scoring a goal and breaking up any midfield in Europe. You've got a back three that's probably the most solid back three in the league. And then you've got fullbacks like Reece James and Alonso, again, who are fullbacks that I wouldn't be surprised if they score 5 goals each this season in the Premier League, because they're good at set pieces. Reece James's finish against Arsenal, I was like, for a split second, I didn't even realise it was him. I thought it was somebody that I ain't seen that Chelsea have bought. But when he slapped that in, you're thinking, if that's what their fullback's doing, Aurier, Doherty and Royal could only dream of putting that away. Ben Davies, if he scores that, he's running home to his mum and saying, "You know what? I can't believe what I did last night." You know what I mean? But then, do you know what I mean? So we've got more fullbacks than Chelsea, but Chelsea's 2 fullbacks that they start with score more goals than our midfielders.
Yeah, I mean, Alan, where do you think they're? Obviously, we all know they're a world-class side. As much as it pains us to say it, they're Champions League winners for a reason. Is there a weak link that you look at when we play them to think, right, I want us to attack that area, I want us to get men around that area?
For me, the only weak link I can see with Chelsea at this moment in time is if you stop Lukaku. That was the thing they were missing last season, and that's where they come unstuck. So if, like I said, what we did against Man City is we absolutely smothered the middle part of the field, which made Man City go wide, and they couldn't play through the middle of us, and they had to put balls in. And like I said in a previous one, unless you're Arsenal, who get out jumped by Sterling and all that, you're going to be able to deal with that quite comfortably. So for me, you need to just make sure you cut off the middle of the pitch, stop the ball going in, because Arsenal never done that, and Lukaku bullied them all game long. And if we don't do that, he's gonna bully our defenders because it's literally held together by gaffer tape at the back there at the moment. The amount of different problems we've got. So yeah, that's the way to stop him. But then once unlike Man City, you've got Havertz that can basically still score a goal. That's the area we've got to patrol really, really closely, that middle part of the pitch to basically stop Lukaku getting the ball fed into him and turning defenders. If we don't do that, if we are open and allow him all that room and all that, Chelsea are going to dictate from start to finish. And it's not me being worried or scared of it. It's just me being realistic. If I could see other ways of us being able to deal with Chelsea threat or stop Chelsea, then I'd say it. But that's the only way I think we can stop them is through getting the ball stopped through to him.
Yeah. All right. This is the fun part, boys. We're going to start. We need a bit of lifting. Mark, what's your prediction for the game?
Mr. Positivity.
Well, listen, I'd be silly to sit here and say we're going to go in. I think it'll be 1-1. I think I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw. I think we'll score first. And I think they'll come back at us. And we'll do what we do best. We'll sit deep and everything. And then I think they'll score. But yeah, I think it'll be 1-1. And I think, like you say, European champions, title contenders, 1 or 2 or 3 to contend for the title this season. I don't think it'll be a bad point.
Yeah. Jacob, how are you looking at it?
Well, if I'm honest, I look at Tommy Tuchel, and I think tactically he's the best coach in the league. You've got Pep that's, he's got a swagger about his football. You got Klopp that puts, his pressing football is probably the best I've ever seen. And then, as much as Man United have got a great squad, Ollie's, he's not a great coach, is he? He's just got a lot of good players. But I look at Tuchel, and I think he's just going to tactically outwit everybody. Look at Liverpool. If there's a team you don't want to play away, it's Liverpool, because 11 against 11, their fans get behind you and they just go full out attack. But Tuchel turned up, got Reece James sent off, and kept it 1-1. So, and Liverpool, we all know that their best asset is attacking. So if their best asset is attacking and Chelsea stop them from scoring away, I don't see how a team I don't even know what our best asset is. I don't know whether it's defending or attacking, but a semi-clueless team isn't going to beat Chelsea. So if I'm honest, if someone gave me $1,000 of their money and said, Jake, put a bet down, and if we win, we'll go halves, I'll put a bet down and we're going to lose 3-0.
Alan, Are you the same?
So I've already given a prediction on another stream, and I was originally going to go with a 3-0 Chelsea, but I couldn't put us getting beat that bad, so I opted for a nice 2-0 loss. It sounds quite bad when you put it that way. The way I'm seeing it is if we start defensively and Chelsea open us up in the first couple of minutes or stuff like that, then the fans are going to boo. If we still stay defensive, the fans are going to get on the back of that, which means if we open up and play, they're just going to put us to the sword. And I think that's where I think I'm trying to be optimistic by saying just 2-0, but I can see, like Jacob said, it could be easily 3, maybe even a 4-0. That's how much I'm thinking it could be quite bad. Like I said, the only way I can see it being different is by the way I've said it, and maybe that way we could sneak a 1-0 or a 1-0 draw, but I just have to say, I would say it's going to be absolutely, 2-0 loss, and I'm hoping it's not worse than that.
Yeah, what are you going for?
I think we'll lose 3-0. Oh. But I think we'll beat Arsenal the following week.
I hope so.
We should make up for it slightly.
I'm going 2-0 loss. I just can't. I just can't see us breaking them down at all.
That's the problem. It's not about the defending of Chelsea. It's actually trying to score against them. We've got arguably the best striker in the league, and with the creativity that we haven't got, and possibly no Son. If we, Harry Kane struggled to score against Rennes. Why do we think we're going to go and score against them?
That's why we need 2 wingers to be able to have pace in behind Chelsea to turn that defence back towards their own goal. If we don't, and it's just like against Palace, they're just going to sit there on the halfway line and dictate that game all day long.
But then you say that, but then even if we do play two wingers, it's two wingers and Harry Kane against a back five.
Yeah, that's the only way I can see us having success. It's the only way I can see us having any joy going forward.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Well, what happens, lads, if we get into the game and there's no Son, no Lucas, no Bergwijn, and we've got Brian Hill, as talented as he is, he's not quick, and Dele Alli either side of Kane for the counter attack. It's not much of a counter attack, is it?
That means I'm going to the shop, mate.
Do you know what? If we get into that game, we've got all those things. I think it should just be like FIFA, where we just surrender and take a 3-0 loss and just move on.
Just like last week.
Yeah, like last week, exactly like last week.
All right, gentlemen, thank you for tonight. We have got a long weekend of angry WhatsApps to send, so we'll prepare for that. Mark, you want to tell everyone where they can find you?
Yeah, you can catch me on Gillings M. Come out and hit me up with the Tottenham talk. But I look forward to talking to you on WhatsApp at what time? About 6:45, where you all go, wow, that was pretty good, wasn't it? Wow. Chelsea aren't that good, aren't they? Lukaku.
Oh, mate, I hope you're right.
Lukaku.
I'm pretty sure.
He can't.
I'm pretty sure you said this bit after we'd done the last one, bit ahead of the Palace game, and it didn't work out that way.
Listen, it flipped on the head. I said 3-0 win. We lost 3-0. But yeah, see, maybe Chelsea will lose like 3 or 4 players during the game. You never know. Let's see. Everybody has a bad patch, don't they?
Yes, exactly. Thank you, Mark. Jacob, you want to let everyone know where they can find you?
Yep, same on Twitter, man. My logo's there somewhere, I think. Like I said, I'm going to get my pages going up and soon. I've had a busy week, so I was supposed to do it this week, but I've had a load of stuff going on. So in time, I'll get it all sorted, and hopefully, like I said, I'll get you guys on what I'm trying to do as well. So it'll get there eventually, guys. It'll get there, and I'll send out the invites and all sorts.
Yes, definitely. And the debate man, the champion of the debate so far, Alan. You know, let us know where we can get you.
You're making me sound really argumentative, right? It's not true. People can find me on here every Friday with the rest of the lads on Twitter, Alan R. Clark 3. I also am on the Football Terrorist, giving my opinions after every Tottenham so far. Well, in recent weeks, losses. So yeah, there's that as well. I'm also on the Gals channel for Premier League prediction show. And I believe there is another Tottenham show that I'll be joining in the coming weeks as well. So I'll have more details on that next week.
Not on a Friday, Alan.
Not on a Friday. No. This will be another. This is my only home for Friday. This is.
If you find out it's on a Friday, I know exactly which show you're talking about. I will be in touch.
No, it's not a Friday. I believe it to be a Thursday as well. So
that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you to the old man for the therapy. Needed it as much as us.
Nice to meet you, Mr. McFadden.
Thank you.
Come on, you Spurs.
Yeah. Come on, you Spurs.
Thank you to all the listeners for today. Don't forget, subscribe to the First 11, like the video, share the video, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. They're everywhere now. But until next Friday, boys. See you then.
See you later,
guys.
See you later. Bye.